wanted to shift gears a little bit. Because, once, if you've seen this, two, if you haven't seen this, mayor to mayor conversation between Bernie Sanders and Zohran Mamdani. Well, a lot of people haven't seen this. I haven't seen it either, so no pre-watched. I want to just, I'm sorry, these are like two of my favorite politicians hanging out, you know? Like, this is the most parasocial that I can be.
Bernie. Senator.
Zohran, how are you?
So many people know you as a senator, as a presidential candidate, but you were also a mayor.
For 8 years, 4 terms.
8 years, 4 terms. And the time when you decided to run, Ronald Reagan had just won the presidency. He had even won Vermont. And yet there you were as a Democratic Socialist deciding to run for mayor. What made you make that decision?
I think Reagan was part of it. During that period, this is ancient history, you know, we were dealing with serious economic problems. We had come off of the war in Vietnam some years before. And basically, it was an attempt to involve people in the political process to revitalize American democracy. And one of the accomplishments that I am most proud of in my life is between my first and second term, we came close to doubling voter turnout.
Wow.
How's that?
That's pretty incredible.
So people had given up on the political process, mostly lower income working class people started to get involved.
How did you do that?
Here's a radical idea, all right? I don't want anyone to listen. We paid attention to the needs of the people. I know. Oh God.
What? Paying attention to what the people want and trying to enact those things? Whoa! But how can that be an effective strategy when the Democrats never do that?
Radical idea. In other words, like many cities, the needs of working class and low-income communities had been ignored. So in Vermont, we get a lot of snow. So we made sure that snow removal took place in low-income working class neighborhoods.
So we're just talking about the potential of Burlington's waterfront. What do you think?
Yo, I'm not going to lie, guys. Listen, I've told this story many times before. Some of the people in Montreal fucking suck, okay? Some of them really, like, blow dick, and not in, like, the good way. Can I just say, I went to Montreal once, and let me share my worst experience first. I was trying to, like, figure out, like, the train station. Like, wait, Debs, you're Canadian? No, I'm American, but I did go to Canada once. I went to Toronto and I went to Montreal. And when I was in Montreal, also, I'm a crazy person. I went in the winter and it was so cold. Holy shit. But that was kind of fun. Going to Canada in the winter is kind of like a power move. Moving on. So I went, and Montreal is so pretty and the food is so good. Did you have poutine? Oh my God, yes. The nice squeaky cheese. Oh, so good. So amazing. And I was trying to figure out, like, the subway. Like, I was like, where's the, train station? And all of the train stations are, like, almost everything is in French. Like, there was very little English. So I was, like, kind of, like, a little bit lost. And I hear this woman talking on the phone in English. So I'm like, hey, excuse me. Like, could you tell me? I'm trying to get here. Like, can you help me? And I'm not joking. She starts speaking to me in French and trying to claim she doesn't speak English. And, like, it's, like, cold, it's windy. I'm like, did I think that she was speaking English? She's like, oh, no. S'il vous plaît, no. I was like, oh, okay. And then she walks off and she's like, this American trying to talk to me. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? That's so fucking rude. I was like, this is the most rude thing I've ever had happen in my fucking life. Jesus Christ, dude, what the fuck? Like, I'm used to New York mogging, which is they'll just be rude to your face. They're like, get the fuck out of my store. And you're like, fair. It's your store, fair. I just couldn't believe that, dude. Like, I couldn't, like, that was crazy. frequent Montreal visitor here. That's not unusual, unfortunate but true. It was fucked up. But anywho, you know, the city, gorgeous, food, amazing. You know, like the place, really, really great. Really, like the area, great. And the craziest thing too was like, it was snowing the entire time I was there. And the roads were always clear. I was like, where are the large piles of snow that is gotten so dirty it's turned into like black sludge that's frozen over into hard rocks? Where are those giant piles? Huh? Why are the roads usable? What? What the fuck? Oh, wait, what do you mean by this? What? The roads being clear doesn't help with the lines being completely eroded. I mean, I'm just talking about this on like a pedestrian level. Who gives a shit about the people that gotta drive in the snow? Fuck those people. I'm just talking about on a pedestrian level. I was like, there's no black sludge everywhere, as opposed to New York, where like, I don't know how it is in other states that get snow. In New York, the snow gets like dirty immediately. And because they don't remove it, it just stays there forever until it literally melts. Like, I'm not joking. Near my high school, there was like this parking lot. And they would move all the snow onto this large pile. And it wouldn't melt until like March. It'd be like, oh, it's spring. The large pile of snow is finally melted. But it would be like really gross and dirty. It's not like a nice pretty snow, the way that I feel like the snow is pretty in like, you know, less pedestrian ridden areas. But like Montreal, like they had like these not ice trucks, these salt trucks or whatever. I was so impressed. And also their transportation system was so clean. I couldn't believe how clean their trains were. Don't get me wrong. New York is definitely like the best transportation in the US, and it's really not close. Like Chicago can have second place, okay? But New York really is top of the line when it comes to the US. But compared to like other countries, it's like, dude, why are trains so dirty? Like, why the fuck? I will never forget in COVID when they announced, they were like, we're going to start cleaning the trains every day because of COVID. I'm like, what do you mean we're going to start? What do you mean you're going to start cleaning it every day? What do you mean by that? Okay, anyways, if they're dirty in Paris too, if that makes you feel better. Well, don't they have like poop and like bed bugs everywhere in Paris? Paris kind of has like America syndrome where it's like, it's kind of got like a Gucci belt. Why is the sun in my eyes? Ow. No, it's actually pretty clean. Oh. I don't want to go to Paris. I don't want to go to France because I know that they're like mean to Americans. So I'm like, I'd rather go to one of the European countries where they're nice to Americans. You know? Don't worry, they're not meaner than Quebecois. Yeah, I've heard Spanish people I've heard are pretty nice to Americans. I've heard, and by nice, I just mean not like assholes to you and not like constantly acting like they're better than you in every single way. Anywho. Americans getting the Israeli treatment. I mean, honestly, I understand like some American tourists getting Israeli treatment in some places. Like I know Japan has closed down some shrines, and if you're a tourist, you can't go in. And it's like honestly fair. Like I don't believe in like defacing holy or spiritual locations, and I obviously don't believe in destroying anything that has cultural significance, but I know some Americans fucking suck, and I know some tourists fucking suck. So it sucks that, you know, the rest of us civilized people, the not Logan Pauls of the world, we would go and like actually appreciate it as like a work of art. But, you know, honestly, I think that that's fair. If people keep defacing shit, that's fine. That's fine. I think that that's a fair rule to have. Fucking Americans, dude. Okay, moving on. Let's keep on.
It has a lot of potential if there would be some improvements to it.
We developed programs for the children of those areas. We started a after-school program for the first time. We started a child care program. We started a teen center. We started a kids newspaper, a kids cable TV show. We started paying attention to the senior citizens living in low-income and working-class neighborhoods. Made sure that street repaving paid attention to those often neglected communities. Today, it's even worse than it was back then. People really feel government has ignored them, and we've got to start paying attention to the needs of ordinary people.
He won his first election by just 10 votes, a genuine upset. An independent, beating both the Democrats and the Republicans.
When we started our campaign, we were reading about your path when you ran for mayor. You were in your 30s. You were running against someone who had been in power for quite some time.
5 terms.
5 terms. And
He kind of looks like, have you guys seen that one image that's like, what the DNC and the RNC has prepared this election cycle? And there's like this guy that's like, he looks like he's in an incubator or some shit. It's like Senator Murder McKiller or something like that. What, do you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about? This, what I'm saying makes Holden Blood Feast. Is that it? Yes. Yes, this should. I want to find like the person who's made this. Holden Blood Feast. 118 years old. Please, God, just let us nuke Iran. Nothing else matters. I'll do anything, please. I just want to see burning flesh one last time before I die. Respectable bipartisan.
he struggled to pronounce your last name.
Yep.
He called you
Saunders.
Saunders. What took you to the point where you were able to
We
take
ran,
all of it
if
on?
I must say so.
Please.
You know, what we did back then is exactly what I'm trying to do politically today. You had a city at that time that was dominated by a conservative democratic establishment. And so many people were left out of the political process. So what did we do? We went to the low-income public housing. We talked to people, what are your needs here? We talked to women's groups. This is way back when. We did not really have an opportunity. Talked to people in the arts community, said, what can we do more? We had meetings with hundreds of parents to talk about what we can do to improve life for the kids. And then a week before the election, we talked to the Burlington Patrolmen's Association, police union. And we said, look, you guys are workers. It's a difficult job being a cop. How can the city play a better role? And we talked about it.
You were sharing earlier that when you won the race, you then came into a city council.
Still shudder.
Chap. The same way that the right is really good at dog whistling and really good at propagandizing things, the left has to get just as good. And that means that the people that we push into power pretend like they like cops, but don't actually help the cops. And they say, I respect it, it's a hard job. And then they actively cut as much funding as possible. That is how good we have to be at our propaganda.
We had 13 people on the Board of Aldermen, and their strategy was very simple. They said it was a fluke. That was the word that they used. He somehow got in. We're going to make sure he doesn't accomplish anything. 2 years from now, people are going to come to their senses and re-elect all of us, right? They made life miserable. They denied all of my appointments. So I had to work with people who had spent their whole life trying to defeat me. 1 year later, I worked so hard knocking on doors. We ran a slate of candidates. On election day, we won 3 seats, plus 2 gave me veto power, changed the whole direction. And I think even our opponents said, that we better back off. What Bernie is doing is what people want him to do. So we did so many things which brought people together to help develop a sense of community. I'll give you an example. It's a beautiful city, and I said, look, I want to plant trees all over the city. Oh, it can't be done. Well, we ended up getting money. And you know who planted hundreds of trees in the city of Burlington? The people. On a given Saturday, all over the city of Burlington, people were out there planting their own trees. We started a jazz festival, which shut down the entire city for free jazz all over the city. Still going today. Circuses. We just did a whole lot of things to bring people together culturally.
Excited that Ella Fitzgerald is here. It's certainly going to be a great few days. Thank you very much.
And where would you find the funding for this?
It was not a lot of money, to tell you the truth. You'd be surprised that small amounts of money can really go a long way, especially in a small city. One of the things in the arts community, and I found that when I ran for president, there's so many great musicians and artists out there. They want, you give them an opportunity to perform, to be supportive of working class ideology, they are there with you. They're an untapped resource.
I'm Jane Driscoll, and this is 242 Main Presents, a production of the Mayor's Youth.
I feel when I'm muted. Sorry, I was reading out a chat message that said, imagine saying that you can't plant trees. Like, buddy, they plant themselves. I think people can manage to plant some. Can I just say really quickly how hardcore I took for granted the trees in New York? Like, not on like a health conscious level, or like not on a we have to save the trees or whatever the fuck. Because like, you guys already know why. Anyways. More so just the city planning level, both aesthetically but practically, the fact that there is no fucking shade in some goddamn cities is actually disgusting. It is the thing that sucks the most about like California and LA. Because New York gets hot. It gets to like, you know, I've had summers where it gets to 100 degrees. And I go out and it doesn't feel hot. Even though we have like a humid heat. So it should feel even worse. And I've never understood. I was like, why is it so much hotter here in LA than it is in New York? And I realized there's no fucking trees anywhere. There's no fucking trees in other states. Like, literally, there's no fucking shade. And there are trees that can provide... It's like the natural flora that was here before we started planting a bunch of shit in California that doesn't belong here, that causes the wildfires to get worse. Because they're more flammable. There were trees here before. We got palm trees. Palm trees aren't native to LA. Like, they pick the trees that give no shade. And I think, what is it, like the eucalyptic tree or something? There's another one that's like also gives basically no fucking shade and only makes the wildfires worse. And then the actual fucking trees here that were here before, you know, fucking settlers moved in, we just removed them. And they're not on any fucking sidewalks. It's crazy. It's like, it's so obscene how like there are no fucking trees. Like none. It makes me so fucking mad. It makes me so angry. And it's the same thing in other states as well. Like, other states don't even have fucking sidewalks, okay? Most places in LA don't have sidewalks. Go to another state, there's no fucking sidewalks. There are none. And it is crazy how much of a difference just a little bit of shade makes. Besides also being pleasant to look at. The difference between a parking lot with no trees and a parking lot with trees aesthetically is huge. How can you not have sidewalks? Bro, that's what I'm fucking saying. It's like residential areas just don't have sidewalks. Like, obviously in downtown there are sidewalks, duh. But residential areas just like don't have any sidewalks. It's so insane. It's just so fucking crazy to me. It makes me so fucking mad. I'm an environmental scientist in SoCal. This is a huge issue. And in the inland heat desert area, it's so bad. Environment inequalities is horrible in relation to heat, shade, and native plants. Well, that's the other thing, too. Because they don't plant any fucking trees, but they insist on having lawns and having grass, you need more water to keep all that shit alive because it's getting beamed on by the fucking sun. But if there was any shade, you wouldn't need 20 gallons of water for your ugly ass fucking lawn. Literally makes the city hotter, heat island effect. Los Angeles, there's direct correlation between lower income neighborhoods and shade deserts. It's so depressing. It's actually like, because yes, they are more expensive. Like a sidewalk with trees is more expensive to maintain. First of all, you have to like, you know, set up the soil, and the soil has to be large enough that the tree can continue to grow. And eventually the tree in like 2 decades will grow to a point that you do have to cut it down and then plant a new tree. Because it'll start like lifting up the sidewalk and stuff. It gets to a point that the roots will fuck up the sidewalk. But like, you only have to take care of that every couple fucking decades. Like, it's not that much fucking work. Like, it's not so much work that we can't fucking enjoy it. Like, are you serious? And damn, it's like they don't consider long-term investments in those neighborhoods. Yeah. It's so mold-inducing. It makes me so fucking mad. I will die on this fucking hill that, like, a good city should have trees.
So you established a youth office.
You love Montreal. There's trees everywhere. I mean, again, like I said, I've been to Montreal. It was very pretty. I like New York more because I feel like I like the people in New York more. But yeah, it's a very pretty city. There's some soul and some love and some heart put into the city planning and put into the infrastructure. That's all. Just asking for a little bit of love. That's it.
Which was headed up by a young woman named Jane O'Meara Driscoll, who 40 years later is still my wife. You know, we got married in the process. So we not only got a youth office, I got a wife. In the low-income areas, there wasn't even a little league. So we started a little league, and I was one of the coaches.
I think especially with the youth office, what comes to mind is that in New York City, we often tell kids, especially teenagers, what they shouldn't do. We spend very little time telling them what they should do.
We did, and it doesn't seem like a big deal. We established a teen center, and we said to the kids, no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. You decide the music, you run it yourself under those conditions. Honest to God, I bump into people today who said, I remember that teen center, and we had musical group battles of the bands. You know, these kids were coming out, terrible music, loudest music you ever heard in your life, but the kids enjoyed it.
Bread and roses.
Exactly. Bread and roses. There was a lot of bread, but there was a lot of roses. And I think this created a sense of joy in the community that hadn't existed before.
It can't just be struggle.
No, it cannot. People have a right to enjoy community.
Yeah. It speaks to the fact that governance will require everything.
Yes.
And so often our ideas, our movement, they are thought of as if they could only exist in a purely legislative context. But this is this opportunity to show that there's the application of all of these ideas could transform the lives of working people.
Absolutely.
The people of Burlington said very clearly that they want to do away with the regressive and unfair property tax, and they want some basic alternatives.
One of the things that really struck me also about what you ran on was taking on a broken property tax system. Can you share a little bit more about what motivated you to pick that and how you see that as a progressive priority?
You got a tax system where a nurse or a truck driver may pay an effective tax rate higher than a billionaire. That's absurd. That's got to be changed. So we led the effort in breaking our dependence on the property tax because it is a regressive tax.
There are so many echoes with the struggles here in New York City, where you have a property tax system that so many have acknowledged for so long is broken, and yet there's the lack of political will to actually put forward a vision that would be fair. Wouldn't be easy, it wouldn't be simple, but it would be fair.
Right.
And people lose their faith in government if you can't address the most glaring example of its failure.
That's right.
It's a sad day because the United States has chosen to go to war against the people of Nicaragua.
When you were the mayor of Burlington, you would also speak up against U.S. foreign policy.
I did.
That was far out of line with the values of most people across this country.
For the last 150 years or so, the United States government, in its wisdom, has decided that Latin America should be a colony of the United States government.
How would you balance leading the city to speaking up for...
First of all, you got to do your job. You're not running for president of the United States. You're running for mayor of New York City, a city which, like every other city in America, has significant problems. That is your job. But sometimes as the leader of a great city, you do have a right to reflect the views of the people in your city on some of the important issues facing the country. So what I can tell you, having been all over this country, is that the American people do not want to continue to spend billions of dollars supporting Netanyahu's extremist government, which is wreaking havoc and destruction on the Palestinian people. You have a right to speak out on those issues. I think you do. And I think when you do, you are reflecting the views of the vast majority of the people in this city. The thing that I have learned, to be a successful mayor, you got to hear from the people, you got to involve the people, and you got to talk to the people. You got to get through all the media crap that's out there and say, this is what I am trying to do. What do you think? The importance of your election is that from a moral perspective, from a set of values, you're going to be in sharp contrast to the President of the United States. We don't believe in pitting one group of people, often politically weak people. We don't believe in generating hatred against the group. Our understanding that we bring black and white and Latino and Asian, everybody else, around an agenda that works for all of us, that we're not bullies, that, you know, if we can say it, we believe in compassion and love. That is what motivates us. Oh my God, it's a radical thing. We believe in this.
Has Bernie said it's a genocide yet? Yeah. He said it now after the UN report recently. Yeah.
Sermon on the Mount, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which is true in all religions. All right. So it's important that we take that value system, that we cherish our kids, no matter what their color may be, the elderly who help raise us, that we bring our people together, and that in the richest country in the history of the world, it is not radical. I know, according to the President of the United States, you're a communist, really, because you want to remove child care in the city of New York, really. You're not the radical. A system which gives so much to so few and denies so many people the basic necessities of life, the depriving people of their rights to live full human lives. That's what's radical. So standing up for justice is what the American people want, and that's what your campaign is about. So bottom line is, which is going to fall on your shoulders if and when you win, is an enormous responsibility to show the world and people throughout this country that our value system can govern well and efficiently, that we can fight for justice, that we can create a better world for all people, not just for the 1%. All right. Now, I think when you get inaugurated, you're probably not going to have the 3 richest people in the world sitting right behind you, right? I think not.
We wouldn't have invited them. I hope they're not there.
And it's not just on you, it's on the people of New York. It's on all of us. What the system has done is taken away our dreams. And they said, we get it all. I mean, just the other day, our friend Mr. Musk is in line for, I mean, it's so insane. What was it, $900 billion bonus?
He would be a trillionaire.
And yet, in this city, you got people sleeping out on the streets and people can't afford health care.
What is giving you hope in this moment?
I'll tell you what's giving me hope. And this is...
Denims, can you turn off the video? It's making my eyes sweat.
Not just rhetoric, it's real. I have had the opportunity to be in every state in the United States of America. And I have met so many extraordinary people. And the bottom line is, you know what? This country consists of a lot of very, very good people. Look, one of the things that the whole country is noticing and why your race is so important, it's not just your ideas. The real question here is whether the will of people will prevail, or whether the oligarchs and the billionaires will continue to run the city. That is the question. If you can defeat the oligarchs here and say, you know what, New York City is not for sale, that will send a message to every community in America that real change is possible.
You know, Bernie, this means so much to me because we are sitting here in one of my favorite restaurants in Astoria, Sammy's Kebab House, in the heart of my district as an assembly member. My journey in running for office in the first place, I launched on October 18th, 2019, and the first event that we had was to your Queensbridge rally. I remember the excitement, the elation we had of the rebirth of that campaign. And the consequent birth of all of our campaigns. And we canvassed the line to get in. We got $1, $5, $10 donations. We got emails. I was being interviewed by journalists from Belgium. I couldn't even get an interview from anybody in Astoria.
So you took Belgium better than
Belgium.
nothing.
I said, and I remember you walking out and sharing your vision for what this country could be. And to have you back here in Astoria again, it's just the ways in which you have inspired us, the path that you have tread that we now walk on, the very slogans of your mayoral campaigns, we echo them today. And in some sense, it is the energy that has powered so many of us for so long. So I just
Well,
have
it's
to say
very
thank
kind
you.
of you. That means a lot to me. And I thank you very much for saying that. Look, nobody is an island into himself or herself, right? We all got it from somebody else, and I got it from other people, and they got it from somebody else. And, you know, the fight for justice has gone on for a few thousand years, so, right? We're wrong. And we continue it. And you're going to be in a position to do a whole lot. So thank you for the opportunity of being able to work with you.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you, my friend.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
All right. You guys happy?
Yeah.
All right. You got enough to give you?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
It means so much.
Am I supposed to not want to cry every time I hear Bernie speak? Exactly what I needed this morning, yeah. There's this like comic of like, it's a woman talking to Bernie Sanders. It's like, it's a drawing. And she says like, I thought you said you were going to create change or something like that. And he says something to her like, you know, I did, that's why you're here. I'm trying to see, I know that this is like not a good explanation of the comic, but I would really appreciate if someone could find it, because that is like, that is this interview made real. Now compare this guy to any of Cuomo's campaign videos, absolute fucking slop. Dude, by far the funniest thing that Cuomo did was put a sign of the quote, America deserved 9/11, end quote, and then an image of Hassan. Because it just makes it look like he's endorsing that. Like that image makes it look like he's saying that. At the 9/11 memorial too, yeah. Maybe I can find it. No. Oh, here it is. Wait, is it this one? No, it's not this one. Pausers. Yeah, it's this. I think this is like an edited version, but I think this version is closer to like Bernie's actual politics. And it was this. But Bernie, you said that you were going to change America and save the world. No, I said that you were going to, and I know you will. I'm not crying, Ted. You're crying.